exhibition in Poland. Today I'm taking you back to Krakow. Of course, you can go on my channel and see my previous Krakow video, my first one, where I just show you how to get to the Rennek with my friend Kasia. Kasia is not with me today, she's working, but I'm here and I'm actually staying with her at her house, and I just took the tram all the way from her place here to this very special spot. Today's video is going to be dedicated to Jewish history, specifically to the Holocaust history of Krakow. Even though I live in Warsaw and I'm very familiarized with the Warsaw Ghetto and I'm actively involved in that community there in Warsaw, I think it's really important that you hear about Holocaust history from every aspect here in Poland. It's a sad part of history. It's not all of Poland's history. It's a very short piece of history, but it's very important that you can see it for yourself and kind of experience it. And I'm going to show you really 3 top sites that you can come and visit, where you can see kind of Krakow as it is today. And of course you can see these sites on a lot of other travel vlogs, but I'm taking you from my perspective and my lens. Today I'm here at this very important square dedicated to the Krakow Jews who went through the Holocaust. And then I'm going to be going to the Schindler Factory, which is not very far. You just can walk right over there. And on Mondays, the museum is free, but you should really arrive very early so you can actually get into the core exhibition. And of course, you can visit their website. I'll be putting that in the details for you down here. And I would really recommend, if you can make it to Krakow, that you make it possible to go and visit us. And then next I'm going to take you to Kazimierz, and it is a really cool part of Krakow, and originally it was separate from the main part of the non-Jewish part of the city, and now it's all incorporated. And I just can't wait to show you how eclectic and urban and wonderful it is, and the revitalization that's been going on over the past years of the buildings, the synagogues that are down there. I mean, even I remember when I was in Krakow for the first time back in 2014, and I walked into a few synagogues and I saw that they were in the process of restoration, and to see in just the past few years from philanthropy and investment from around the world how those synagogues and their beauty are just coming back to life. It's really an incredible thing to be watching it for myself. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you the square. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Then we're going to walk over to Schindler's factory. This is referred to as Ghetto Hero Square, and as I mentioned, it pays tribute to the Jewish victims of Kraków. The Nazis forcefully removed almost all the non-Jewish people from this area, and this became known as the Krakow Ghetto. This particular Platz was the place where people came to be sent to either Belzec or Auschwitz. Museum finally, and looks like I'm gonna finally get in and check out this. So definitely get here early, it's worth it, and the line is moving really fast. They'll close the door just to give people a chance, you know, to like have some space in between people, unlike places like Disneyland, no offense, that will just like push people in, and you just feel like you have no room to breathe or the ability to really see attractions or enjoy them. I kind of like this, that you can have a pause and you can wait, and then you have some breathing room in between you and the people that you're going through the exhibition with. So in a few moments the door is going to open and we're going to go on in. In this device, as we enter the first portion of the core exhibition, we see this device which has pictures going around in a circle. And let's see, what do we see? Hitler with a little girl. To a lot of people in Germany, Hitler seemed to be a good leader, taking Germany out of the financial crisis and depression that it was in. Though when Nazi Germany invaded Czechoslovakia and then attacked and invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, the truth of what had been brewing in Nazi Germany during the interwar period began to expose itself. Though the Poles valiantly fought to the very bitter end, yet they unfortunately were no match for the Nazi army, which came like a lightning strike, the Blitzkrieg, from Gdansk all the way to Krakow and to every possible community that Poland had. Some people were soldiers, some people were mothers, some people were fathers, rabbis, shop owners, bakers. It didn't matter what the profession was. They were rounded up, forced in many cases to leave their homes, possibly with belongings like these, and then they were relocated to a tiny area called a ghetto. I was really touched by the Judaica, which was a part of their normal lives. Now they're housed here, frozen in time, and a testimony of what was. We are familiar with the Warsaw Ghetto, but here's a map of the Krakow Ghetto. And just like all the other ghettos, they were pretty much built by the Jewish population of that city. And actually, if you come to Krakow today, you can still find fragments of what remained of this ghetto wall. Just after the war began in 1939, Schindler arrived in Kraków and took over this factory, which would go on to produce enamelware and ammunition for the Germans. He was able to convince the Nazis that he needed these Jewish workers, and by the end of the war, he had rescued around 1,200 people. When I walked into this space and saw the names of the people that he saved, my breath was just taken away. I'm sure if he could have saved more, he would have. Names are one thing, but taking a look at the faces and getting to know their stories is another. Like the story of Moses Goldberg, I had about 10 minutes, and I chose to listen to his story about how he was a young boy, and somehow, some way, Schindler picked him, and he got to stay alive and survive because of what Schindler did for him and how grateful he was. Something that I walk away from this whole experience is that Schindler was not perfect, but he decided to do something when he knew something was not right. All right, and there you have it. We went through the Schindler Factory together. I didn't want to say everything or show everything because you should have your own experience coming here. And look, the weather is changing in good Polish fashion. And hopefully I will not need this shalik anymore. Now I'm taking us to our next destination, which will be Kazimierz, which is not that difficult to get to. You can take one of these, of course. I recommend it. Or you can just hop on the public transit. So really quick, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about this museum. As far as Polish museums go, I thought it was done very, very well. I really liked how they didn't just fixate or focus on Oskar Schindler or what took place there, but they did the entire story from the beginning when Krakow got attacked by the Nazis. And that is sometimes a story you don't always get to hear. Maybe you get to hear about Gdansk or you hear about Warsaw under attack, but seeing what the effects were of Krakow actually being attacked and the Polish army trying to push back. So the beginning, as you saw, of this exhibition was telling the story of why this all happened, the effects on the whole population, not just the Jewish population, but the whole population of Krakow during this time, the response of the people, like the different activities and the camps that were created and the ghetto here in Krakow. It's just really amazing to me that they did such a good job going really in depth. So by the time you get to the part actually about Schindler's factory, then you have this total background knowledge. And I thought that they did a really fantastic job. So hopefully this encourages you to come by yourself. And here we go, on to the next place. All right. I think that is probably the easiest way to get over to Kazimierz on the other side of the Wisła. And I recommend, by the way, taking tram number 3. It's just 2 stops to Miodowa, and then the rest is by walking. You don't really need to have a car or whatever. Everything could be done really on foot. So let's take you now into the historic Jewish district. I mean, very historic Jewish district of Krakow. I think you're gonna love it. So here we go down Miodowa Street, and in just a few seconds, we're going to turn the corner here on Szeroka. And this is one of my absolute favorite places to go in all of Krakow, is right here. You just start walking down this little alleyway, and even though these shops aren't open now, they'll be open later in the evening, like restaurants and stuff. It's just this amazing vibe of what it would have been like to be here before the war, and to feel that hustle and that bustle that was here for hundreds and hundreds of years. And now when you walk, you see all the tourists, and of course all these little, like, you know, golf carts, and of course yummy restaurants. By the way, I'm going to show you here in just a second, this building right here hosts like one of the oldest mikvahs. And as we come down this part of the street and turn the corner, we get to a very special monument. This is the place of meditation, a monument set up to commemorate the 65,000 Polish Jews from Krakow that died in the Holocaust. In Jewish tradition, instead of leaving flowers, they place rocks. There's lots of symbolism. I wanted to show you the Remu Synagogue, which was built in the mid-16th century, and it's gone through a lot of restoration in the past few years since I moved to Poland. I just really love that it is so full of people right now, and it's got this really cool, calm vibe to it, and you've got Jewish tourists and just all kinds of different people from around the world that are just enjoying life here, just like it was before. All that life has come back, and everything has been just retouched up, and people are just enjoying themselves, and that's the whole point of coming to Kazimierz. And you've got a lot of cool foodie options. For example, you've got Ariel, which actually I've done a film there with my friend Rajo, and we were eating some of the traditional Polish Jewish food like gefilte fish. And just also, I want to say that if you are kosher, that this is like one of the best places in Poland to grab yourself some kosher food. You have to, of course, do your research online to figure out which locations are kosher, but not every city yet is there where they're making kosher available to people. But I'm telling you that Kazimierz not only has places to eat that are kosher, but they even have places to stay that are kosher. You see this green building? It was the childhood home of cosmetic pioneer and businesswoman Helena Rubinstein, who became one of the wealthiest women of her time. Now, I can't take you to every synagogue, but I want to take you here to this one because it has a bookstore full of Judaica and klezmer music playing in the background. On your way here, you can also come across this very colorful mural, which I really enjoyed. I saw it off the balcony of Ariel last year, and this is my first time getting to see it up close and personal. And we're heading now into the entryway of this old synagogue. I just love these bags with pictures of famous Polish Jewish poets and authors. And of course, this poster of Theodor Herzl also kind of got my attention. So this place basically, you know, it has it all as far as trying to find a really good gift to take home with you. It's like this Ludwig Zapfenhofer bag, or one of these books or journals that are probably in Polish, but they do have some postcards here that are kind of for everybody. I thought they were pretty nice. And they also, I noticed, had books in English. There's probably some Hebrew and Yiddish books too as well. You just have to kind of dig around and see. So without further ado, I think I'm gonna take us out of here and get us to the next location, which is one of the oldest synagogues in Krakow. Now we take a few steps to the Kupa Synagogue, which is built into the medieval defensive wall of Krakow. I spent a lot of time here, and I have to tell you that as you know, the camera is panning around, this room was just so beautiful and filled with light. And also the bima, the center part where the Torah is read, this was one of my favorite parts. Now I'm going outside, taking a look at this mural, and then off to something to eat. This foodie truck area is wonderful for locals and tourists, and it's a great place to get a cup of coffee to go. Speaking of going, I wanted to wrap this vlog up and show you one more thing, which is the Kazimierz Jewish Cemetery, which is right around this corner. And my friends, my fellow travelers, that's a wrap. I hope that this video was helpful for those of you who'd like to visit Krakow. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and be watching for the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and do widzenia.